Welcome to Life with David. I'm David. Today I'm feeling a little spicy. No, not like that. But my wife and I love to cook, and finding spices is always a problem. Spices are so important, but they get so little respect. We only have a small space allocated for them, so we really need to get them organized. So why don't you join me for a low-tech solution for putting more spice in our life? I'd like to spend a moment on safety. There's nothing more important than keeping you and your loved ones safe. Be sure to read, understand, and follow the safety rules for your tools. Using your tools properly will greatly reduce the risk of personal injury. And always use the appropriate eye, hearing, and respiratory personal protective equipment. Now let's get started. Our spices used to be stored in many different places. Drawers, shelves, boxes, they were all over. Then we remodeled our kitchen and allocated a prime, albeit small space for our spices. We thought a turntable would solve all of our spicy problems. But it was hard to find the right spice, and spices started showing up in many other places. We needed a better way to maximize our spice organization. As you can see, we only have a 10.5 by 11 by 8.5 inch space to fit and find as many spices as we can. We have two main issues with using the turntable. First, as you can see from this animation, although the spice labels are easy to read on the outer ring, it's hard to identify spices in the middle rings. Second, sometimes the spices fall off the turntable and wind up here in the back corner. This often jams things up and is difficult to clear without knocking over a bunch of other spice jars. How can we solve the first problem? If we raise the jars in the inner rings and label the caps, we might be able to find all the spices. Let's use a couple pieces of particle board cut in circles to lift them up. We'll start by measuring the spice jars. We use both McCormick and Durkee spices. They come in half and full-size jars. The diameter of the jars are all roughly the same, about 1 3/4 inches. However, the heights are all a little different. The height of the McCormick jars is more consistent, and in my opinion, they stack more securely than the Durkee jars. The turntable has an inside diameter of 9 inches. That allows 2 rings of jars with an additional jar in the middle. A roughly 5.5 inch disc will raise the inner ring. An additional 1 3/4 inch disc will raise the middle jar further. I'll use a bandsaw with a center pivot to easily cut a perfect circle for the outer disc. The upper disc is cut using a hole saw. Then I'll attach the two discs together using a dowel and my favorite, hot glue. Then the riser is placed in the middle of the turntable. A key to making this work is to write the name of the spice on the edge of the lid with a Sharpie. Then put the spices back on the turntable with the tallest jars in the middle. All the names of the spices should be visible. Next, we can address the problem of spice jars wedging in the back corners if they fall off the turntable. If we block off the back corners, there won't be any space for the spice jars to fall into. We can simply make a wedge-shaped piece to fill up the area. And this simple wedge opens up the opportunity to store more spices in the same area. If we make the wedges 5.5 inches high and add a couple supports of the same height to the front, we can install a shelf on top of these supports for short spice jars around 3 sides of the cabinet. there would be room for 10 or more additional half-height spice jars. I added a little lip to keep the spice jars from falling off the shelf. And just like that, we increased the capacity by about 20%. Thank you for joining me today. I think this was a handy little project that makes life just a little easier. Not only does it speed up finding the right spice, but the increased capacity means we could eliminate some clutter on our other shelves because we could put all the spices together. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. And leave a comment or suggestion for things to do. I hope to do more of these videos, so please subscribe and click on the bell for notifications of new videos. Let's get together next time for another day in Life with David. See you soon.